will be even lower for Unique, where we could end up being quite pleasantly surprised by what they bring to the table.
That's just rude, Michael.
I mean, I just think, you know, the veto could have gone any other way. Anyway.
Yes.
We got some interesting names here on the side of INDE IRAE. We're going to be referring to the man on the bottom of that T-side scoreboard as X5.
G7B.
Yeah, let's not issue out the whole serial number.
Oh god. Hurt Frisk though in the meanwhile has managed to actually climb up. This could be a quick boost back in towards the window area. Winter's being forced off. They're hoping that they can push him away, and that's exactly what they get. Railway will take him down. He has to be careful. He's got the utility that can be dropped over, so they don't actually expend a fair bit of it. Hurt Frisk as well in the meanwhile, as he's trying to move through back over towards the jungle. He will be able to reclaim it. The kit and smoke still far away for Sorrow, and he doesn't really look like he'll be under any threat. So retake potential still is there, but without flashes and presence in CT, it's not going to be easy.
They get held up in CT spawn for that little extra time, just thinking if they can fight back for window control. But yeah, being this man down, they do have a smoke and a kit to try and make this a little easier. If they can get this on the bomb, INDE aren't exactly challenging, so this could be really threatening.
I mean, Sorrow could even just start to tap it out. There's no one over in mid. The problem is going to be the players back in jungle. That's what Duke is looking to pressure. Duke turns around. What a few kills from Duke. He's got 3 and 4 on board. Unique. Start off with a magnificent 4K. CTs, make it work.
Oh my days. You couldn't ask for better coverage here from Duke, just continuously mowing them down as they're sticking to the fuse. I don't think they realized that they were quite challenging for it. Duke is just like this one-man army out in front of jungle, and they could not deal with him.
I mean,
and we didn't really talk too much about players coming into this, you know, talking more about the head-to-head in terms of the team matchups. But we have some exciting players and some that will be kind of unknown. X5 is kind of that X factor for INDE IRAE, but Duke Fissura is that exactly that for Team Unique. You see exactly why.
I mean, he's royalty, Michael. That's for sure. Duke, however, I have to say, even the adjustment back to aiming in for the first shot was nuts in itself, but then the double peek from INDE IRAE was even played. It was played well.
It was played well enough.
Yeah. You know, that's a perfect peek to come through for one player. You're thinking you got to take him down with the Glocks. Right now, though, it's actually the Farmers of Sorrow, which is the only one to find a kill. Smiley and Iceman might just be looking to save at this point. The instant entries as they move in will mean INDE IRAE will get the 4-spy round win regardless.
Are they encountering a couple of issues in the apartments? Neither of them's really ready to fight. They're fiddling with knives. I don't know what's quite going on. But yeah, this was a bit of a strange round here from Unique because they gave up mid control completely and they didn't really have somebody spotting for its top connector. So by the time they realized that INDE IRAE are threatening this A bomb site, it's far too late. Like they just pounce in, find these 3 kills that are needed. And while Unique will be able to save their weapons, I do think we're kind of destined for a technical pause.
Looks like it should be one, and yeah, it's a pause. It's been called. Most likely, some couple of issues going on. Hopefully, that wasn't one of the things that stopped the round from transpiring in their favor. Duke's timed out, though. That's not a good sign of things. Actually, I just checked. I think Unique, Unique might be having some internet issues. We're gonna see if those can be sorted out very swiftly.
Yeah, that's you know, the European side is on LAN. You know, things are being swapped out in and out sometimes when PCs aren't working, but still on a online segment here for the CIS side of things.
Yeah, sometimes even online you can have some issues.
Yeah.
It really does feel like the world of broadcast is just a mess waiting to happen, regardless of what situation it is.
It can be difficult as well because, you know, I don't know about you, but I've tried to get like business lines installed.
Really?
And, well, yeah, you know, just it's a secondary connection, just to, you know, try and be a bit more reliable. Let's not end up in a 40% loss kind of situation.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's like completely dependent on being able to establish like proper work permits, and do you have the
Really?
do they have the like infrastructure where you are, especially in like residential areas, to provide that same level of coverage? Because some businesses just get away with on like personal lines, but if you're not, it depends whether you're having to actually rely on the internet to do your job. But that's completely different.
That's interesting though, because so over here how it goes is if you want a business line, you just have to pay like 30 times as much.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get
No.
into like the economic side of it. I just,
Yeah.
I toyed with the
No,
idea.
no,
It's like,
I
is this
just feel like
possible by me? And it's maybe not.
I mean, in all fairness, you're also in the UK where internet is also just not the best in comparison with the rest of Europe and even Eastern Europe.
Yep. Yep. Let's not talk about that.
Well, you know what? We are going to have to go to just a little bit of a break right now. And when we're back, we'll be underway with the match once again.
Stones in a helpful hand, broken bones in a bloodstained flag. Open road and nomadic plans. the shadows. I've come to make a name, ready for battle. Cause I got a throne to claim. Think that I'll crumble, I'll show you your mistake. Where you see me coming, better run for cover. Cause I'm not slowing down, I'm never going under. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. So meet the monster I came to conquer. When all the smoke clears, I'll still be on my feet. Forget all of my fears, cause I know my destiny. I feel a champion waking inside of me. It's set in motion, the legend's spoken. This is my moment. Can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment.
On the way back into things, unfortunately, Unique had a bit of a disconnection issue where all 5 of their players just sort of weren't there anymore. And as a result of that, we did end up having an administrative decision being made to reset that round, and we are back to 1-0 with Unique having won the pistol round with us pretending like that never happened.
Yeah, this is could shape up to be a very similar round though, because look at what INDE IRAE are doing. They're sitting bottom connector. This is very reminiscent of the previous round, but Unique have kind of changed their approach to this.
Winter's gone a lot more aggressive towards A main, and off the back of them, they're now focusing slightly more into aggressing through apartments. Railway, though, again, slowly walking up. Good for the first kill. Finds 1, but it traded out. Winter's good for 2, but caught off by the final man. Coming into A main. Now, a 3-on-3 with Duke to take the point initially and give them the advantage.
And the connector is going to fade soon as well. And the fact they have this flank here on Smiley, they're just going to wait to try and get this execute going. But they spot the feet. That's hurt out of the picture. Now it's only Flurry, and that has to come up big. But there's that flank coming into action. Not even getting a chance to fire back. INDE IRAE, they get that bomb down, but Unique there on the retake.
Very important double coming out from Winter, though, over there. If he's not able to find those, then it would have been a very similar story to what we saw before as well. Unique will, however, still let the bomb plant through.
So just to give a little bit of insight onto what's happened, to why we miss out on the round that seemed to go INDE IRAE's way, I think what as far as I'm able to interpret the admin's decision is the fact that they weren't sure whether the connection issue had occurred before the round had been properly played out. And as a result of that, it's not what is conceived as like a fair round for Unique. I think they were ready to make the concession, but coming back into a round replay, INDE IRAE are not going to see that same level of success. The plan was fairly similar, but like you said, those 2 kills from Winter made a massive difference. Sees reinvestment as a result of that bomb plant in from INDE IRAE, so things could still get very interesting. I don't know that Unique will expect them to have as many weapons as they do. And look at the peak. X5, Iceman's dropped. They tried to capitalize off that top mid molly, but now being this man down, Unique are gonna give up that mid control.
They're focusing on concentrating just around maintaining jungle and A main. And jungles where, let's not forget, INDE IRAE have boosted up into earlier as well. Railway was able to find this kill in the pistol round. Whether or not it will be the same now, I have to wait to see. X5, though, brought down. Sora immediately backs off. Now that it's been equalized, he wants to go back to reinforce the B bomb site. But with Smiley's death, he's reconsidering Duke. As has been the case in every round, finding key kills. But even then, Railway is going back to A, and with the bomb actually being dropped, they're content with finishing off the players rather than trying to go for the plant.
Yeah, they were just still so spread out, hadn't culminated their forces just yet to one of these sites, and so even when things are getting a little bit dicey there, even after kind of losing in that initial sort of exchanges, you know, Unique were kind of fighting back and dealing with the players coming off your short. It's just the fact that INDE IRAE were still ready to spring in off of those defaults and find these aggro picks. So eventually they're able to grind it away. The bomb plants that they've been able to get in these past couple of rounds, of course, have led to them getting the buys. And finally they break down that winning set of ways here for Unique and put them into a position where they have to consider the force by themselves.
And that's what they call at the time. You know, Michael, you weren't here for the previous game, but very interestingly enough, what we saw from A was that they were able to pull out a double M4A1 in a lot of those force spies regardless because of the lower price and how they were choosing to buy. It was very interesting as it gave them better chances, but a lot of that also came down to the fact that they had constantly max loss bonus because they were losing most of the rounds. So, you know, that's not ideal.
Yeah, take it for what you will.
Yeah.
Look at this small advantage you might get on CT sides. Here's the condition. You have to be losing for 4 rounds in a row. Really like the approach here from INDE IRAE. Just playing things out nice and slowly. You know, we've seen a couple accelerated schedules, especially when they've gone for this lurk up the connector so far. And now with them pacing down, trying to limit the effectiveness of some of these close range fights. They do need to clear out all of these positions. You can see Iceman on the top of the balcony ready to spring.
He needs to come up big with the CZ. Only one though. Flowing trades and Duke unable to reclaim. Rather, no, it's a delayed hit with the Deagle where he finds it. Railway good for one. Winter will fall, but the bomb's already on the ground. X5 hoping to rotate it back to A, and this is where Sora's position will be everything. As long as he can make sure Railway can't cut off rotations, this is going to be a good spot for Sora to be playing from. But Railway peeked out into down to 10 HP. Sora knows that he needs to get the peek out soon. The bomb was just planted, but he's not able to make his way over in time. Will still catch X5 turned around as he was retreating back to A. And Railway being this slow means he's basically dead already. And Duke will just guarantee it.
Yeah, Railway was just banking on winning his one fight. He needed his teammate to stay alive on the bomb site if they wanted any chance of winning that, but that MP9 came in way too quickly. The force buy here from the CTs is able to overturn it. I wasn't actually favoring their chances. I thought the approach there from INDE IRAE was solid all in all, but then they start to separate. They try and go for this fake almost towards that B side of things, but the fact that Unique didn't over peak or over swing from that B site made INDE IRAE go back towards A instead, because there was that limitation. They couldn't scale up. They couldn't trade either. Wasn't supposed to be a fake, but it ended up kind of turning out that way based on the fact that Unique didn't over peak.
The IRA has been prioritizing getting that connector control very often so far. A lot of silent plays coming through from them, actually, interestingly enough, and then working off of short afterwards. We'll have to wait to see whether the default keeps leaning that way, but if X5 gets shots like that, Michael, yeah, that's going to be a nice way to guarantee a consistent advantage.
Yeah, goddamn. What a quick peek. You can see they're trying to still hold onto a bit more mid control. It seemed like Unique were actually going to go for some sort of mid-round execute, but because of that kill, it really disrupts that plan.
Yeah.
Ooh.
On the point, because Iceman has taken down the railway system. Can't be doing that, Iceman. It's public property.
Man, need to thaw it out.
Oh, Winter. Careful, man. Winter's been solid on the A-bomb site for one round and one round only. Other than that, he's been picked apart many times over. Sorrow peeks out. He's gone, though, for just the one. And Winter, once again, ineffective. Just can't find anything on the anchor position. In the IRA, again, finding one. And Duke's been the big man consistently, 8-1 so far. But there's no deals to find easily this time over. Flowing is pushed through to where Jungle. That was a player who's hoping to catch out more likely than not. And X5 being ready with the scout means Duke is gone.
Yeah, that's the heavy hitter now taken out of the picture. Iceman rotating in and getting the one kill he needs to. A bit more room to work off of, but no utility really to stick this plant. They're using flashes as well to deter him. Yeah, doesn't fancy his chances. The blind takes off too much time, and Iceman now moves to save. It's another round being accrued here from INDE IRAE. Another round where they've gotten plants in this A site, but this time it sees it all the way to the finish. And these entries, I mean, it feels like INDE IRAE are constantly finding these man advantages early into rounds. Another 5v4, but this time fully converted. Unless they're getting some kind of crazy, a big performance like the double kill from Winter, or these big rotations in from Duke, it doesn't feel like Unique are able to come back into these rounds because they're constantly giving up that man at the start.
It's also this incredibly stark difference and contrast between who's anchoring either site, because it seems like whenever you're going to be, Duke's going to be there, and Iceman as well has not been too bad. Duke, though, gone early in. Herfritz with a fast cat play will find him, and Iceman, his position is known. Smoke will be extinguishing the Molotov as he's retreating back, but he can't adjust in time. X5 and Railway have found everything they need. Sure, a kill from Smiley's nice, but can't really give them too much beyond that. Winter all alone, the 1v3, and X5 to take him out.
Well, it's just been four spies all the way through this game, and I think we finally might see Unique step away from that.
Don't go crossing your fingers, Michael.
Yeah, it's just been a little too close to call in quite a few of these rounds. Even when teams are winning them, it's been one or two surviving members. So you can understand, you know, they're trying to get that initiative. How dare you win your force buy? It's our turn. But it doesn't always go tit for tat.
In the IRA, however, also don't go tit for tat, Michael. They've had so many untraded openers this time over. Yeah. And by untraded, I don't mean that across the entirety of the round. Obviously, you know, I mean in the first like 5 to 10 seconds after they get the kill, they've been given time to reset. Sure, the play can end up going down later on because of individual greatness, but sorry, in the meanwhile, finds railway bombs been planted, so funneling through jungle is basically impossible, especially when you've got fire at your feet and bullets in your head. Not a great combination, those two things, Michael. Wouldn't want to let through that.
It gets really dangerous because Railway gets dinked up immediately as he was trying to push jungle, and if that hadn't been an area that was completely visible there for the rest of INDE IRAE, then potentially that rifle falls out of hands. You know, there's the options for Unique to save or try and get something done on that retrieved weapon. That's why they just keep fighting in towards jungle, even if there is a bit of a risk with the amount of numbers that Unique had. They know that they gun them down on the firepower. Now AWP out for Iceman. Davkos has won himself. Proper gun round versus gun round, which has been a rarity so far this half, but finally into the 8th round of the game. We'll see proper play. And you can see INDE IRAE are just playing things out slowly, working a bit of mid control. That bomb is still in T spawn, so they're really just trying to probe for this information and see if there's anything unique about this round.
Ah. Now use INDE IRAE like that, Michael.
What does it even mean?
I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Someone on Twitch chat will be kind enough to enlighten us.
Sounds like a niche music genre.
That's true, actually. You and your music, Michael. Unique, though, have got their double ops out, and now they're hoping that they can put these to slightly better use. Smiley hasn't had maybe the most of action so far. It really has been very much the Duke game, other than the one run where Winter stepped up. I'd love to see Winter get aggressive a bit more often, and that's what we're seeing from him in this round. Iceman misses out on short, though, re-peeking out without a flash, and he's able to get away as well. That's not the easiest of tasks to fulfill, but with Winter being tagged up in the meanwhile, he's been forced to use the smoke to aim in, and they've turned around. Short is completely cleared. They know it. No way Iceman's re-peeking for a second time. At least that's what they'd like to think. Iceman, though, might not need to. Smiley's found the bomb, drops it down, and he doesn't have time to adjust as he'd just unscoped. Winter still aggressive inside Palace. Railway not expecting it yet. He's maybe thinking that the man has pushed back towards CT spawn. There's no time for them to get the plant in. Winter just wants to get a few more kills towards the end of things and recover the secondary op. With this INDE IRAE losing control of the bomb, losing sight of that secondary op, can't get it done.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed a weakness over towards that A side of things. I barely even clocked that there was a second op in field, but they were kind of playing around that there on the side of Unique. They were constantly pressuring the ability to come up short. They had bottom connector covered as well. That's why Winter was so aggro towards A main. And even though he lost so much HP, the fact that Smiley's able to get that one kill to alleviate that tension, you could see that they weren't prepared for Winter to be so aggro when they know that he was tagged earlier on. So really solid stuff here from Unique now that they're finally onto these rifles and they're able to get these AWPs out. Dangerous fight here for Sorrow. Is he actually considering pushing down? No. Because as soon as that smoke fades, you imagine Railway will tempt the swing.
Re-smoke out for that connector. I'm kind of sad we haven't seen any drop nade shenanigans, Michael. I guess we were just spoiled yesterday from that LXCV game. You know? But
well, it was cooking up a storm, you know. We saw the immediate fallout. People being like, "This is ridiculous. We have to reconsider how we view utility damage." Change the meta one map at a time.
Yeah, eventually we'll get there for Mirage as well. Sorrow's already found a kill and a lot of damage to Hurt Frisk as well. Hurt is living up to his name, but as he's pushing out, the smoke might just be a point for them to aggress through. There's no one watching it except for Iceman, and he's watching the back, and X5 is gone because of it. Smiley as well adds another in, but Flowing, the trade, and Hurtfrisk, another. They've got themselves a 2v2 with a lot of utility for Flowing available as well. But only quite difficult. Duke's making his way over. Big man early on in the game, but not the best of success in the past 3 rounds. He's got utility as well to block out a main if he'd like to, but the smoke might be better suited for the bomb itself.
Much easier position to spam, but the fact that they reposition into Palace, this is not going to be easy sightlines here for INDE IRAE. So if they stick this is really difficult.
Duke is trying to go for that. There's a player coming in from jungle. Iceman's expecting him to be over in short. Iceman's defended from 1 point, and now he can just try and lean in for the second. Knows where the last player is and even blocks him out. INDE IRAE will have money, but not a lot of it.
And as soon as Iceman's got his hands on this AWP, we've seen immediate impact from him on the CT side. He's taking fights in towards middle. Now here on the retake, he's there to cover his teammate. And that was the problem with INDE IRAE's post plans. They didn't have the easy lineups to try and deal with that player, to spam him out. Had they stuck to, you know, ramp and potentially connector, I feel like their prospects increased quite heavily. But they played it safe because low HP, and they knew that AWP was coming as well.
Just wanted to throw a curveball as well while they're doing so.
Yeah.
And of course, in company now, it's a quick A rush coming through. Flashbang return from the CTs. Dodge down. That's never going to catch anyone. It's Soro who wants to try and find the player in Palace. Waits out for a bit. Good for one, but keeps the peak going. Duke has to give him some backup, and he knows it. Soro's already gone. Railway was the one to swing out from underneath stairs. Duke had to give him support over there, but unfortunately was unpeaking away from Flowing in the meanwhile. Smoke out for that connector jungle Musk, but Flashbang's just going to keep them away temporarily. Smiley has been fantastic on the secondary as well, working to make up for a couple of maybe lackings that Winter has had in a few of these rounds, but he has more than made up for them. It's Duke though, caught out, hurt to take him down, but a lot of damage dealt, and Smiley's there for the trade. Flowing's position has been known all this time. Maybe peeking him might not be the best of ideas, but with a double up, there's no other option.
Yeah, really solid reaction there from Unique. They had swarmed that site before INDE could get too much control of A. That kill onto Duke, by the way, you know, it's something that we'll touch upon more and more as the meta develops. Because more people are moving to the A1S, I don't think they quite realize that extra distance on the gun barrel, they're not going to be quite used to it. Some of the positions are going to shift up as to where people see play. That's why the A4 can be so much more valuable, is that actually in sneaky spots or harder to clear angles that you need to hard check on T sides, it's actually more advantageous to not have the silencer on. So
and that's why it makes sense that Soro's the one with the M4A4, Michael, just to pick up on what you're saying. He's been consistently playing that stairs and connector position. Duke just rotated back from B, and look, man, B side, I'm taking the M4A1 any day. A lot of spam through smoke potential, especially. Iceman, meanwhile, good for one already. Iceman's peeking out again, man. This guy, he's living up to his name.
The audacity.
Very much unaffected.
I mean, usually players just jump down, and he banks on that exactly. They weren't prepared for him to continue facing. He has been a cool character here for Unique. It's in 12 and 5, and INDE IRAE 2 men down here in this round. And the advanced position of Sorrow, they do not anticipate that whatsoever. Just tapping away. Davkost can get his hands onto that AK, but the space that he has isn't all too great. You imagine Duke gets this kill every day of the week if he actually attempts anything B.
Yeah. And with 30 seconds left, I feel like you probably want to go for the attempt even, you know. Loss bonus is pretty decent too. You know, you're sitting on that $2,900 for this particular round. 18 seconds on the clock. Davkost saving this AK might not be the best of ideas, and that's where Winter just comes in with a clean, quick double tap. Unique, up to 7 already.
It's like, wait a second, didn't we kill Sora there just moments ago? How is Winter now in the exact same spot with that M4?
And Davkost was the one who killed him, so.
Yeah. I cleared that moments ago. But of course, Winter had the MP9, so he went to go upgrade and even gets his hands on an AK as well to top it all off. INDE IRAE, another buy does grace their side, but they not exactly the cleanest. Flowing, you can see on the Tech 9, but they have a plan for this round. Utility being set up for an A side execute. All while X5 is just trying to distract them in middle. Here comes that exec, and Smiley needs to come up big on this AWP. The counter nades are going to be well timed.
Oh, Flashbang is also just perfect. Keeps them away as well. In the meanwhile, Flowing trying to peek through the Tech 9 means he has to get aggressive earlier on, and he's got the angles down below. Smiley's missed his shot, and Railway will punish him for it. Rails away onto Smiley.
Duke, quick flank though. That could be a real spanner in the works. Could really twist this round.
Dude, but they might even be able to funnel back through into mid if they realize where he's coming from. But he's dropped the player who was closest to the bomb. Flowing's gone as well. It's advantage gained back, and somehow Unique in a 3-on-5 don't lose a single player.
Oh, they're just all over the place. I don't think they really knew what to do once they got those 2 kills. Like, do we prioritize the plant? They wanted to go for faster aggression in towards jungle and connector to see if they could cut off rotates, but then they're just getting shot in the side. Like, the fact they're able to hold on to CT, they get a kill from the ticket booth, all in tandem with the flank as well. There was just too much chaos there for INDE IRAE to track down trades even. That's a round they should never have let slip. But don't know what the situation is in terms of how they're approaching those mid rounds, whether the voice is loud enough to accomplish these tasks.
No.
It's a little warm in middle.
Yeah, it can be heating up a bit. Well, it's training near the colder side, of course, so you got to keep the heaters on. Would not advise open fires, though, especially not near wood or structures or anything, really. Don't trust most of the people watching, including myself, with an open fire.
It's like, yeah, let's not take my words out of context. Let's just avoid fire altogether.
Iceman, though, he's managed to take Dapkos out of the round. Railway, good trade, though. Sorrow to be caught out. Winter will keep things going. This has been a solid angle for him before as well, but as he peeks forward, Hurtfrisk is ready to intercept that peak. Iceman will trade, and Hurtfrisk will be, well, lonely. Very lonely. Duke puts him out of his misery.
Yeah, another really solid round here from Unique. Even when they're losing control of areas, they're keeping it contained enough so that they can spot for any advancements. And at the moment, in the IRA, even if they're taking areas, it feels like they're almost getting a little greedy with it at times. Like, how far can we push this? It feels like they limit test in a fair amount of these rounds, and almost every time they've been met by either an AWP or an off angle being held by Unique to prevent that limit from being tested.
Oh, Smiley's even found the first. Dapkos is down and the trade is good, but will it matter? The utility means that they needed more, and Flowings actually somehow got Sorrow as well.
Yeah, just come through the edge of the connector just as he was trying to fall back.
Oh, and this is where Iceman's caught off. He wasn't ready for the timing. He was trying to re-aggress onto short, but because he didn't have that second player in Duke nearby, he had to go for the apartment peak early. Duke, though, peeks out wide. What a spray transfer. Almost gets a second, and a grenade's going to finish the job. Duke's not done yet, though. Actually, he is. X5 to make sure of it. And Winter's left alone. That's where he'll be caught out from the flank of Hurt, but the smoke will only obscure vision for so long. The timings look perfect, but even then, so much damage dealt to the INDE IRAE side.
Oh, it's such a tumultuous round. Even those final moments there with Winter, because the smoke was covering him, he actually turned to look at the flank for like just a split second, and then he was like, I'm covered. There's nobody behind me. Only for him to then get shot from behind. Really solid. I'm surprised that INDE IRAE are able to navigate out with those 2 kills in middle, especially with Smiley once again going for this opening pick. He has been so consistent, like you said, on that second. Yeah.
And T side's never going to be the same kind of level with it. So it's going to be interesting as we lead forward.
I mean, testament being Davkost's scoreline. He had that ult on T side, and yeah, was kind of struggling with it.
I'm hoping he can also really step up. He can be a very exciting player. Obviously, he's been around the CIS scene for seems like forever. He's one of those players like Nickelback and whatnot, who you always know there's something to it, but you're just waiting for them to click in the right lineup, and maybe this could be it for him.
Yeah. Well, seems like they're looking to burst into this B site, and with the Tech 9s and SMGs, I kind of favor their chances.
Frisk waiting for them to start peeking forward. That's a great flash, actually. Wow, that's fantastic. Railway finds Iceman and Frisk, despite the good flash, will still find two. And he just has to stay alive as Railway still over in short is doing most of his work for him. Not a single player lost. Well, it's still a sick flash.
Yeah, what a savior Railway is for that B bomb site, because if not for the fact that he reacts so quickly to what is this B side bursting play from Unique, Frisk dies at the back of that site and he's able to get no impact. That extra room that's granted to him as a result of that kill that Railway comes in with is invaluable there for the INDE IRAE hold. So no, we don't end up with the same tumultuous circumstances. We don't have force buys on force buys, just Deegs coming into the third round, and Davkost makes it look easy. No head armor.
No armor at all, actually. And X5 is taking advantage of that. It's Eco Frags time, and he wants to go hunt it. We'll get a quick, crispy USB shot at the end as well. Spell points always nice. Unique, however, I am actually really doubtful of their ability to perform in the T side. Michael, the way they were playing on CT side, I felt like their individuals were not stepping up other than Duke, unless they had an op and they were literally being peeked into. Iceman showed some semblance of aggression, but even that was like, okay, I'll re-peek into an angle where I'm hoping they're not already there.
Yeah, the rifling proficiencies just didn't seem to work all that well. That's why they needed that double op. Yeah, and I agree. Hopefully it's going to be put to rest as now we see proper investments here from Unique, and they get their hands on a coveted AWP. Smiley will take that one up.
That's a weird flashbang. I think that flash was not meant to sail down as deep as it did or as high as it was. Fully blinded out his own teammate. But Railways found Iceman, who was getting cheeky inside of smoke. Can't really get as cheeky as he did on CT side, Iceman. That's not how this works. And because of that, Unique have been forced into a very split up default. They're hoping that INDE IRAE will be peeking them, but INDE IRAE are playing super defensively. Even if you look at X5, he's literally just nestled away into the corner of jungle.
Also, just as an amendment to what we were saying earlier, we were talking about Iceman being the primary and Smiley the secondary. It is actually the other way around, but the way that Iceman was playing it, you would almost think that he was primary.
Yeah, he was really the one who was kind of darting around all over the place and shooting people whenever he can. But yeah, Smiley's the one who picks it up on T signs. It makes sense. Railway, though, is able to find Smiley. Doesn't matter if you've got the AWP. Apparently, they'll get you anyway. Davkost and Railway get a perfect crossfire from across the map, and there's no way you can break onto the A-bomb site like that, Unique.
Railway's been so good so far this game. He was getting entries like no other as well on T side, and now on CT he's getting opening kills, but then tying the little bow on top with that added crossfire potential, limiting what Smiley could even do. There was nothing that Unique could easily get away with in that round.
It's gonna be tough times ahead, that's for sure.
I mean, just like really cool as well there from Davkost. That's what I really think is going to open up. I think we're actually going to see in-game leaders find more and more impact on CT sides in particular. Now the A1S is seeing an improvement. Whether or not we get some nade shenanigans or A1S spam, smokes are going to be even less of a barrier. We went through different eras where people really thought smoke equals wall, and then the revolutionary discovery, oh wait, we can just spam them through it consistently.
Maybe that's like the change Counter-Strike needs, Michael. When you're spamming bullets through a smoke, they have a 20% chance of just not existing. They vanish inside the smoke. They've been poofed out. Yeah. Like, only 80% of your bullets actually penetrated smoke, Michael.
What is it? Going into like the House of Mirrors or something? It's like sometimes it'll.
you know, you know me, Michael. I was just more thinking of Dota evasion.
Yeah, that's just.
It's like 20% evasion. Ricky Smokebomb comes in.
Yeah.
Of course, without pouring too much into other Valve games. Unique though, they've managed to evade getting any round wins, so there is that to be there. They're hoping to be able to set up for an execute later on, which, you know, the way INDE IRAE are playing, it's comparatively defensively later on into the round could work wonders for them because there's no one to initially take point, and it all comes down to whether you're willing to pop flash through those smokes or not to get some additional map control with the Tech 9s. They have been willing to get aggressive, but unfortunately so far it has seldom worked out for them.
Here we go again. Wall of smokes as a result of the stairs in jungle being smoked off. X5 around the corner. Molotov does come in, and Fluian's throwing a smoke as well to give him a bit more room. Molotov will prevent plants from coming in for Unique, but these pistols are doing significant damage. Fluian's not deterred though. He keeps peeking above it.
And she's backed out. Davkos, oh, it's Flowing to find another. In the meanwhile, it's a 5-on-3. Davkos is just going to keep an eye out for the Deagle in Palace. Has to be sure not to get caught out by that, and as he misses the shot, switches out to the pistol, stolen from the corpse of the terrorist side, and he's using it to make more corpses. But Railway, again, man, this guy's the ultimate savior, always in position. He's got two to make sure that the off can't be taken out of their hands. INDE IRAE have really got him to tank for a lot of these rounds.
Yeah, Railway kind of performing the same job that Duke was doing on their CT side. Like, he was the one that was pushing in and threatening these flanks. And the fact that Unique get ground to a halt after throwing those smokes, not to mention that when they actually went for those smokes and they bloomed, they were really hesitant about moving up to A ramp in any sort of a sense. So by the time they go out, those smokes have been down for about 6 or 7 seconds. And then you're basically making use of about the half-life of that utility.
And what's the adjustment going to be from Unique side is the big question, isn't it? Because it feels almost as though you do just need to take a straight view and win it. You know, down mid, wherever. If you're never getting the opening frags on the T side, it's just going to be a rough time for you, man. And it's not even like you're being fantastic on trades. That's the other problem, isn't it? INDE IRAE have been very good about setting up these fantastic crossfires because of how dominant Railway has been on a position like short, which can very often be forced off of this from a flyer of utility.
Yeah, you usually want your like your star players playing short or connector, really, because they're the fight towards middle. You know, you can contest the sites. Railway, like you were saying, has been very consistent and Unique. They're not finding those same saving graces that INDE IRAE had in that first half, where they were consistently almost coming our way with opening duels.
Very late, deep connector smoke to come through. The T's are always going to cheat past it, especially if they have a top connector smoke. But X5 is lined them up for 3 big frags. That's the M4A1 helping out just a little bit. Sure, would have maybe liked to have a few more bullets, but he takes the deal regardless. Winter finally shuts him down, but it's too little, too late.
Yeah, 15 seconds. That's gone about as catastrophically wrong as it could have. The timing from X5 could not have been better. No wonder this guy's got some weird serial number for a name. He's crunching the numbers in his head, and the probability of that particular instance, there was a 1 in 1 millionth chance.
I mean, you've had a hexadecimal. This guy's just going for, you know, whatever the 32 version of that is. I don't even know. Hey, but yeah. There's some fantastic stuff.
And he kills the first guy so quickly. You know, that is actually the change coming into a full effect as well. He has less time to react to that. He's barely able to get like 1 bullet connecting onto X5. And then he just lines up everybody else who's supposed to be clearing out the bomb site, peering into A. INDE IRAE CT has looked good enough. Unique haven't gotten a single round here in the second half so far, so they need to get something going.
The funny thing is, INDE IRAE is not getting utility damage, even whenever they're using these grenades, etc. At least not very much of it. So despite the kind of dominance that they've shown in the second half, not a lot of it is coming off of utility damage. It's just mostly crossfires that they're able to maintain very effectively and individuals stepping up.
And I was giving up that same point here for INDE IRAE, where is there that leadership for them on that T side? Unique needs somebody to take the reins in, and so now they're just running into the site and hoping that the things work. The flashes are right on the money, and this time over, that crossfire completely breaks down. Railway not off of short, in towards the benches, and Sorrow never really stopped pushing forward, but now considers it a 4-on-3, and they'll hold that advantage.
They're finally in a position where they found some opening frags. Hurtfirst this time, while fully flashed up, was rushed down. Maintaining the position many times over, generally ill-advised, and finding Railway towards the back of benches is the big difference maker. Railway was hoping to be the one who changes things up a little bit, but that still meant that Hurtfirst didn't have the same kind of cover as he would have been able to provide from short. Davros, all he's setting up for is some exits. Eastside economy still not fantastic. So if X5 had found that kill, could have been problematic going into the next one.
And CTs are basically capped. So
yeah, they got money in the bank.
Really would have actually hoped to see them go for a few more risks, considering they had that money in the back pocket and the Unique side hadn't gotten their economy established. But that's one of those min-max things that, you know, sometimes can take away from the typical flow of engagement, where you know that should X, Y, and Z occur, you know, we lose the B side as quickly as we do for in this particular instance, then it makes sense for them to save, especially when they have the lead still.
Yeah. Also, it's easy to forget how quickly the CT economy just vanishes away when you're on low loss bonus. Building up some loss bonus while you save isn't the worst of things in the world, especially going into the second half, where hell, if things flip around on you, you don't really have time to make them flip back.
Yeah, even in spite of the fact that they've had so much success here on the CT side, you can see that INDE IRAE are trying to toy up with how they're approaching their positions. You know, like you said, not wanting to always stay in the same spots. I think that's why we saw Hurt in similar positions we've seen on the B-bomb site, but that's why Railway was in at the benches, just hoping that because he'd been off the short so many times over, that they'd anticipate that he'd be there and not in the site instead. Of course, didn't work out last round, and with the amount of progress Unique are getting towards middle, again, it's just this B-bomb site that they want to hurt and put the hurt onto INDE IRAE, not getting anything done on both of those B-side anchors. So now X5 has to come in. That rotate is there so quickly, they weren't ready for it, and so it's back and forth trade. Still a man advantage for Unique.
He wasn't prepared for the player to already have jumped down and be ready on default. Now, Davkos is actually going for it this time. Over the previous round where they had 3 alive, they didn't try, so I'm not quite sure about this. Davkos, a close range, will find one at the very least. Tech9 pulled out, maybe can do a bit more than an AK if he'd like to pick that one up. Has an incendiary as well to clear out a spot, but with the bomb being planted 4 apartments and both players there collected together, Davkos right now can't really find anything, and he knows it. Wants to peek out. Be careful as he's doing so over towards that window spot. Smiley is gone. But because they saved a few guns over in the previous round, it shouldn't be the biggest of deals as long as they can save the AWP.
Oh, man. You can see the paranoia there for Davkos. He expects that something's off about that retake. That secondary player isn't repositioning in towards a safe angle there for Unique, because those opportunities were open. You could have come off of short, you could have come through market. So you could see Davkos crunching the numbers and trying to get kind of ascertain where that last player was. Even if he was sure about the apartments, the others were a little bit more of an oddity. But another time where Unique have been able to capitalize on this B-bomb site.
Spam down mid from Railway, doesn't really find anything. It's Davkos who's hoping to use the one-way smoke to his advantage. At the same time, Michael, you're also looking at the kind of entries they're getting onto the B-bomb side players. Hurtfrisk is very often the one who they're able to take advantage of. This time as well, he was trying to rotate back 2 benches while he was fully blinded up. Didn't have a smoke to cover his retreat either, so there was really no way for him to get out of there. And Hurtfrisk is trying to remedy that. He's aggressed forward, and he's now in a solid position for at least 1. That's all he needed to get done, and with a grenade and an incendiary, they've delayed for a while longer. Not quite as sure about the grenade, but Railway wanted to be thorough.
Yeah, Davkos has moved into a position to help out as well. They haven't been pressuring the A site the same way that INDE were on their T side. Feels like both teams trying to isolate the potential weaknesses in the setups. Hurtfrisk is the one that's being punished at B. Winter was the one getting abused on A.
Oh, Davkos getting aggressive could just be his demise coming through over here. He is peeking forward. A flashbang would really force him out of position and have nowhere to go back to. There's still incendiaries or Molotovs available for the terrorist side. Unique can flush him out, but they need to be careful about flashing him first. That flash won't be connecting at all. Davkos.
What are they doing with the bomb?
I mean, I have no idea. There's 15 seconds
seconds
left. There isn't time to go for this. Flowing's got an incendiary as well. They do have a smoke to extinguish it if they want, but Iceman's found one on the fadeaway. 5 seconds on the clock. Flowing and X5 just ripped them apart. Unique. When they don't get the opener onto Hurt, they've just got no idea what to do and where to go. And even Duke going down after time. Their money isn't there.
I am confused. Truthfully. Like, it's not as though they had crazy amounts of information on that A bomb site. They just hover in the apartments for so long. They throw like a flash or two over at B, and they don't really make use of anything. There's this late rotation where there's too many things can go wrong.
And that could have
feel
just been
like
the round that they give it all away.
Yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous that it all plays out like that, especially when they do go 1 for 1. Nade and AWP will strike in towards middle, so that's 2 men out of the equation here for Unique, in spite of the fact that they found a basically untraded kill at the start of this round.
Okay, I've actually got no idea what's going on Unique's D side.
I think it's that lack of leadership. I don't know that they're really reining it in the right ways, that the voices are loud enough here in terms of like directing the flow of combat. I had that same criticism of INDE IRAE, but especially now that on the CT side, they're remedying a lot of that. They're reacting very appropriately to what Unique are offering.
Yeah, but the difference for INDE IRAE also is that you could clearly see the firepower was probably superior. You know, like before the ops came out, they were winning all these rifle deals and whatnot as well. I'm gonna hold the point because Sar's hoping to be able to move in. Unfortunately for him, Hurt Frisk is ready, and this time it's on the B bomb site which he is occupying. Iceman has an AWP to deal with. It's Davkos who will be jumped across from Iceman, has been able to hold him off for a while, but Davkos actually dodges out the player, and now that he's been forced out by the Molotov, has to be careful, but he still gets a shot. He's so fast on the scope, and Smiley can trade, but it's still a 1-on-3. Now back to 2. Smiley trying to plant in. He's committed to a deep without any concern for his life, but he doesn't have time to readjust, and the double AWP can be saved by the CT if they would like to.
Oh my god, the timing there for Davkos as well was, I mean, ridiculous. Iceman holds fort, he swings for like just a fraction of a second, but then Iceman quick switches to his knife. Like, he's trying to get, I think, over to bench. He's thinking about the potential for an after plant position instead, but I don't think he quite got that communication across, or maybe thought Davkos was swinging the other side because they would have heard the tags from the Molotov. So yeah, I think this is a very aptly used timeout here from Unique, and their last one that they'll have coming into this game. They need to just organize their comms. It feels like things are all over the place. The only successful round Unique have had on this T side, they have both been bursting plays into the B apartments with Mac 10s, pistols. It's just... And sometimes I feel like we're maybe sometimes too critical in terms of like what type of strategies you need to bring, because it can be sometimes simple solutions that bring you a lot of round wins. But at the moment, the simple stuff ain't working, and the only successes you've had have been on basically rush plays.
Hell, I mean, even the simple stuff just looks like it might not be the same stuff in everyone's heads.
Yeah.
One of the nicest things about simplicity of a strat is that it's very easy to align your team on it. I'm going to have to agree with you, Michael. The team doesn't look entirely on the same page all the time. And in particular, you saw that in the round where the bomb just couldn't get planted in time and whatnot as well. That just looked like there's a lot of communication going on internally, and they've forgotten about the timer. X5, meanwhile, peeks out. Catches out the first play. He's been great from this little corner in jungle, you'd think. And he would be forced out of it. Iceman will do that now, but he already lost out a man. 3 players in B, though, means Floween has to step up as the bomb makes its way over. Lots of time to rotate. And Iceman will not be striking in yet. Hurt Frisk is the one walking. He's actually keeping an eye out for this as well. He's expecting the late peak to come through. That's a really good call from the man. Oh, doesn't matter if you get a good call. Iceman demolishes him on the duel, and now they've got to funnel 3 players in from CT spawn. Sorrow's found the first. Railway is gone. Unique. A fantastic opportunity over here off the back of what Iceman has provided them. Duke as well spots out the shadow. Flowing, who really can't go anywhere but to the afterlife. Davkos, careful now. Being peeked into. They know you're here. What? Wait, how did he get that shot?
Duke had his knife out.
No, but he tagged Duke for 8 damage. Was that through the wall?
It must have been. I think honestly, it's more likely that Duke got shot in the back by his teammate.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, but. Yeah, I mean, a pretty successful round all in all there from Unique, but it's not exactly anything too crazy. They had very limited utility as well coming into that round, so they just throw what little they have, and they kind of lurk their way into a couple of these advanced positions where even if they did lose out on one of those initial players, the fact that Iceman just held onto jungle for so long was a big issue that INDE IRAE couldn't quite keep handle on. Winter's feet being spotted and spammed.
He's
a whole lot of damage, no kill.
Just got those shoes, Michael. Unique though. I'm gonna take a shoe to the backside of INDE IRAE.
A little smack.
Really, it's more like a kick, to be honest, but okay.
I mean, you say taking the shoes to them. I don't feel like you know.
I mean, you do it with your feet, Michael.
For some reason, I just thought you put your hand into a shoe like a boxing glove.
That would be funnier, in all fairness. Just punch someone, but like you would kick them.
Yes, indeed. Don't know why that's where my imagination went with that one.
Unique, however, hoping to drive their imagination and their bodies over towards A, but there's 3 players here to meet them. INDE IRAE are much more prepared for it, and as they've seen the smokes and whatnot coming through, already incendiary deployed. Timing is good, but it'll be extinguished soon. 1 flashbang remaining. That's the only one they have, and X5 has found the first. Sorrow down and out. No control to be had in Palace. And it seems like with Duke's demise, they're turning around to go to B. Iceman has been spotted, though, as Hurt is not letting them get a fast one. 20 seconds. They'll be able to make their way over, but Hurt cannot be hunted down now that Iceman is gone, and it feels like there's no way to get the bomb down safely. Hurt is playing this perfectly.
Yep, no time, no space. Bomb was on an island. It's by himself. Winter was left on a lurk in middle, even when they were losing so many numbers.
Yeah.
There have just been too many instances in these rounds where it feels like they're not making the correct adaptations. This time they set up for an A-side execute that goes kind of haywire. They lose those 2 opening kills, so they try and run things back. The problem is that they ground off so much of that clock, just kind of setting up and letting INDE IRAE have free dominance of the map, but it's not as though that CT side has been particularly aggressive in the mid-rounds. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about the Unique approach here to Mirage, and that's exactly why we were kind of concerned that Mirage came into this series for Unique.
Of course, just reminded everyone they did elect to go for it. Winter also elected to go and contest Davkos, although he might not have realized that Davkos was there. Even so, rule number 1 is Davkos is everywhere.
Oh my god, how is he
here though? He's found himself 1, but not ready for the second. Has to be making sure that he finds that as well. Tries to catch the player as he was jumping down, but Iceman is the one to pluck him out regardless. Somehow he's gone all the way up through B short, and I love this because they're finally taking advantage of X5's positioning and how passive he plays from inside jungle sometimes. I'm not quite sure what's going on with X5 right now though. It does seem like he might just be disconnected. Over in CT spawn?
Yeah, just holding.
Okay. I guess.
The problem is that they lost that B bomb site so quickly, and because of Duke's advanced position, you know, close market, you could have potentially pushed even further for those rotates.
Yeah.
You can see INDE IRAE aren't contesting this one, but ooh, this shot from Davkos could have potentially punished another weapon, and we'll find it eventually. Money has never really been established here for Unique, so actually these kills do actually matter, but we talked about how good the money was looking for INDE IRAE at one point or another. Like, oh man, they're minted. They're loving life. Well, yeah, that CT side economy does catch up to you. So saving these
Eventually.
weapons is going to be a benefit. But yeah, the fact that Duke is just able to slow lurk his way up towards short while INDE IRAE are, you know, kind of fantasizing about how good this bait and switch setup is going to be in the B apartments.
Oh boy, they're never gonna know what hit. What?
Yeah,
How did he
we've
get
just
here?
been shot in the back. Okay.
Of course, that is going to be the risk of having a player all the way in the corner of jungle rather than playing more in towards the window room area where you can have a sight line towards short.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention that nobody from the A site had a visible sight line as well, so many difficulties and a gap exploited there from Unique. Yeah, game's not over till it's over, but the Unique T side has left a lot to be desired. Let's see if they've been able to right the ship in time. A lot of presence here from the T's over towards A. I say presence, but they are relatively undetected. Haven't been spotted, haven't made too much noise, not deploying utility either. It seems like it's going to set up for another late call here for Unique. In fact, just using that one flash, Winter's found the kill.
And Flowing's hoping to step up from behind. Winter walks out for another. That's magnificent. He's even going for more, but that's asking for too much, and that gives the CTs a chance to equalize. Hurt is still in the vicinity. A flash has been dodged, and he can move past it soon if he'd like to, but rather waits for the rest of his team. He has that incendiary, but again, they'd rather use it in the retake process. Flashbang straight out overhead. That's going to be catching no one. CT's careful now. T's been spotted over to Tetris. Sorrow should be going down. That double incendiary uses the same spot. Isn't ideal though, and Duke and Smiley will punish in the meanwhile. Hurt caught in an impossible position, an impossible peak, and as he finds the first, he doesn't have time for the second. Smiley knows it. The CTs now will be out of money, and very soon they'll be out of lives. Smiley up to 14 for Unique, and out the back of a fantastic double entry from Winter. They have reset the CT economy somewhat.
Yeah, there's still enough in the back pocket here for them to muster something together. You know, an AWP can come out, a couple of these M4s, like you said, coming away from that first game of the day. There were a few of these buys that, you know, because of the loss bonus, you know, these last few rounds being ground away by Unique, that the A1S can still be afforded. Railway is the only one that has to take the concession, but yeah, they're threatening the overtime and maybe finding the solutions early enough. Tag from Davkos does hit the mark and he's able to escape, so it's actually ended up in sort of this equal damage exchange. But here they go, once again, B site looking to spring the trap. Look at the response here from INDE IRAE, though they've got 3 close by.
Yeah, Davkos also has a lot of utility. He's going to have to use it soon. He's been smoked off for now. Hurt Frisk hoping for some support, but Railway can't provide it to him. Hurt is good for one. Dav is already on the bomb site, though. He's adjusted for the apartments player, and Davkos has found the second. Hurt Frisk peeks out the USP to do it, and it's Hurt Frisk to finish out.